Hey guys, Chaps here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Overkill. There's plenty of guides out there for the Gnasher, but I haven't really seen too many people cover the Overkill. Also, due to some of the responses of our Fun with Horde video, it seems that the Overkill mechanics are still a mystery to many of the players. As always, let's start by taking a look at the mechanics of the weapon. The Overkill has 8 shots in a clip. Unlike other weapons though, this weapon fires twice per trigger pull. Once on the pull, and once at the time of release. This means that while you have 8 shots per clip, you only get 4 trigger pulls. The rate of fire is also interesting, as this weapon can be fired as quickly as you can pull the trigger. As you see by this clip here, it's clearly a shotgun type weapon, where each shot fires a large amount of pellets. But wait, the spread on these shots is not very consistent, so why is this weapon so random? This is where the real secret to the Overkill comes in. Holding down the trigger will significantly tighten the spread of the shot. Take a look here. I'm going to fire a shot, and as you can see, it's a pretty reasonable spread. Now we'll do a quick trigger pull. This will fire the first shot, and then fire the second shot right away. Take a look at this spread. It is quite large. As you can probably imagine, with a spread of this size, the range is pretty pathetic. Now to show the alternative, I'll fire the first shot, and then I'm just going to keep holding the trigger, and keep holding, and now. There, I let go, and you can clearly see that it's a much tighter spread. Let's do that again, but this time I'll place the shots next to each other so that you can see the difference. Alright, now let's discuss the wait time here. How long do we have to wait to still maintain a reasonably tight spread? So as you're seeing here, it actually takes less than a second of hold time to get the spread fully reduced. And it's really only like half a second or so to bring it back to a reasonable size. It's also important to note that actives do nothing to modify the spread nor the tightening rate. On the topic of spread reduction, don't just assume that the trigger pull is always going to have a tight spread. As you see here, I fire a shot, and then I fire the release shot and pull the trigger right away. So the spread clearly hasn't reset. This is important to note because a lot of people just spam the trigger. This is showing that not only do you want to stagger your pull and release, but you should also stagger the release and pull of the next shot. For the last topic on spread, let's talk about Hipfire versus Hardened Mechanics. Here, you just see me shooting a variety of shots with and without actives, and with and without hard aiming. It should be pretty apparent now, but if you can't tell, hard aiming makes a huge difference. The spread on a Hipfire is crazy, especially for quick shots, and it's just not going to be effective unless you're like right up close point blank. Now, we can't talk about weapon mechanics without talking about the damage, right? Well, being this is a shotgun type weapon, we'll compare it to the Gnasher. These blocks on checkout do a great job of allowing us to measure distance. The main blocks are 2 feet by 2 feet, and the smaller blocks you sometimes see are 1 foot by 1 foot. With the current weapon tuning, the Gnasher one-shot range is right here at 7 feet, and that's based on a toe-to-toe distance. Now let's see how the Overkill performs at this range. A body shot does 62% damage.
Locked and loaded.
An active body shot does 68% damage. As you'd expect, this damage will slightly decrease as you get further away. What's surprising though, is what happens when you get closer. Check this out, this is point blank. This shot is going to do the same damage as a ranged shot at the Gnasher one-hit zone. What this is showing us is that it's actually best to use the Overkill at or slightly further than the Gnasher one-hit range. You're not going to body someone in one shot, and getting closer is not going to help, so keep your distance and just land those shots. Up next on damage testing are headshots. Here you can see a point-blank headshot does 93% damage. With an active, you're actually able to one-hit kill with a point-blank headshot. What has really surprised me though is the range this thing has. I mean, look at this active headshot range. This thing is a beast. Normally online I used to just go for body shots, try to get 2 body shots on someone and kill them. But from now on, I'm probably going to be aiming for the head if I've got actives. Now that we've discussed the mechanics a decent amount, let's go ahead and talk about the practicality of the weapon and some of its uses. As you probably know by now, this is a pickup weapon. You don't spawn with it. Most of the time in versus multiplayer, if you're picking up a weapon, you're going to be changing out your Lancer, as the Gnasher is just too important to be without. The Overkill is the exception, at least to me it is. When I pick up the Overkill, I trade out my Gnasher. I find the Overkill to be a much more effective shotgun, so I really don't mind trading it out. When using this weapon online, it's really important to remember the ranges. Too many people try to use this by getting to point blank and spamming the trigger. In order to be efficient, this should be used just outside your standard Nasher range. And while I hate corner campers, utilizing corners to hold shots can be pretty useful. Fire the first shot, step behind a wall for a second to let your spread tighten, and then step back out and shoot again. Not too many maps have this weapon, but if it does, I highly recommend going for it. Once you learn how to use the weapon properly, it can become one of the most powerful weapons on the map. The power of this weapon has caused quite a controversy though. Many believe that the weapon is too powerful and spawns too quickly on most maps, which is one of the reasons we saw it get replaced by the Buzzkill on Blood Drive. With this controversy, I would somewhat agree with people. Yeah, it's really powerful, but on the other hand, it is a pickup weapon. It's supposed to be powerful, but that said, it really does spawn too frequently. From what I understand, the game was designed in such a way that they aren't able to modify the spawn timers with decent granularity. If they change the spawn timer on the Overkill, that would involve changing the spawn timer on every secondary weapon on every map for every game mode, and that just wouldn't be good. I have no clue why the game was designed this way, but I certainly hope TC's learned from this mistake and allows for more tunability in the future. So yeah, they removed it from some maps, which is unfortunate, but somewhat understandable. But if you are playing on a map that has this weapon, just be sure not to underestimate it. In Horde, I don't really pick this weapon up, as I don't let enemies get close enough for it to be necessary. If you're playing as the Scout though, this thing is amazing. If you're a Scout, I would pick one up as soon as it's available. Adding the various shotgun cards, like shotgun damage or shotgun magazine, just make this thing even better. Although I said I don't pick this up very much in Horde, Horde's probably one of my favorite places to use this weapon. For starters, you can play against some pretty easy enemies, which gives a great opportunity to get used to the weapon. Messing around in Horde is where I really grew accustomed to the range and the spread of the gun. Not only can the gun be really effective on some of the easier difficulties, but it can be a blast to use. Some of the Scout's perks, like Rage, will give health back for dealing shotgun damage. Mix this with the shotgun damage card, health boost, health regen, shotgun magazine, and you can pretty much take on a boss solo. I went over this in my Fun with Horde video, but War Machine Overkill Party is probably one of my favorite Horde minigames. For details on that, check out the video which I've linked below. But as a general overview, you camp and spawn with all scouts using nothing but overkills from wave 41 to 50 on, hardcore or a higher difficulty. It can get pretty challenging, but it's also a lot of fun, and it really shows off the strength of the overkill. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this overkill video. Just remember, hold that trigger to tighten your spread, and it will make a world of difference. If you found this guide helpful, be sure to let us know. Leave a comment, drop a like, subscribe. Yeah, you know the drill. Thanks for watching everyone, and I will catch you next time.